There is an urban legend among high schoolers that if a student dies during an exam, that everyone gets a perfect grade. When your future is on the line, that kind of urban legend gets a bit more appealing the closer you get to your finals. I tried to study, but in a post-COVID world, I was basically years behind. I'd gone to makeup classes, I'd organized study groups, and I'd sat with close friends until the sun was rising, trying to make heads and tails of what might as well have been written in an alien language for all the good understanding math did. It just wasn't possible to play catch-up anymore. The generation below me had better luck, but my generation, we were screwed. I wasn't the only one in my class who felt this way either. Across my class, everyone was in the same position as we saw our teachers giving us a half-hearted education. We all wanted success. Everywhere we looked, we were being told that our futures were pointless, so why not try and make it a bit better for us? Thus the plan. On the day of the final exam, we played a little game of Russian roulette. Not with guns, obviously, but with poison. Poison baked into a single cupcake among 30 identical cupcakes that we would all eat just before entering the final. Given the poison we were working with, one of our classmates would be dead within the next 30 minutes, and we would all have received a perfect grade, and we'd all be home early. A notable sacrifice for the future. We all agreed it was worth it. Every cough in the exam hall had us on edge as we pretended to scribble some answers on the paper. But finally, after 17 agonizing minutes, we heard a moan as one of us suddenly collapsed onto his side. He then began to scream in pain. It was a horrible death. Blood streamed from his eyes and ears, and vomit exploded from his mouth. He gargled and drowned on his own fluids in painful seconds as he tried to catch his breath. The amount of blood that left his body, and with such force, splattered the ceiling and rained down. I sat back, trying to hide how content I was as the teachers panicked and gathered around what had once been a casual acquaintance. And then, to the side of me, a girl collapsed onto her knees and began to scream also. Her eyes and ears were bleeding. She vomited. She drowned in agony, kicking out in both confusion and pain. And no sooner was she done than a few rows behind me, another student collapsed. It was like this for a while, as I shot my eyes at the kid who made the cupcakes. I wanted to understand, but despite my confusion, she looked strangely calm and satisfied. And then I felt my stomach begin to burn. The final days of the S.S.S. Fang. Sedum 14th, 12 p.m. Last night the fog rose again. Anchorage and I were mostly asleep when it happened. We had dozed off after another long day of trading towers. I've collected lots of gold now. Not that it will ever be spent. Anchorage's leg is getting worse. The bone has set poorly, and I can tell it pains him, no matter what he says. He started sweating more, even through the blasted chills at night, and his color's off. It won't be long, I'm afraid. Not that I'm any better. The cut on my arm from the helm is infected, surely. Over the last couple days, more and more black veins connected to it, and it still hasn't closed up. Anyway, last night the blasted fog rose high enough to fill the ship. I woke with a chill and found the entire galley filled with the cursed purple gas. Same as before the crash, that is. It carries no ill taste or smell. However, there is a deep sense of foreboding when you breathe it in. It's as if the fog itself is corrupting your soul, somehow. Not only that, but it deadens any noise, and you can't help but feel exposed, like it's watching you. The fog has surely doomed us both. The central engine crystal is going to be down again, and I don't think either Anchorage or I have enough life, enough to wait, for it to uncorrupt itself from that blasted fog. It was likely only a couple of days from working again this morning. Now, we will both most definitely die here. I hope that whoever reads this will, at the very least, move my ship away from this cliff and away from that malicious fog. At least there was no sign of that thing. I don't know if I could stomach seeing that monster again. Not only does it haunt my fevered dreams, but most nights, Anchorage and I can still hear its echoing screeches bouncing across the canyon walls. Shortly after the crash, I used to stand by the hole in the hull and just look into the depths, watching for it. Some nights I swear I could see it flying just beneath the surface of the fog, causing huge 100-foot waves in the wake behind its wings. I pray to the gods above that it does not come back. Certic saved me. I refuse to dive being carried away to the depths below. Sedum 16, 12 p.m. Anchorage passed last night. Bless his soul. My time is not long. Fevers ravage my days now. Only the chilly nights are bearable. The fog was high this morning. As I woke, it was level with the cliff's edge. It looked like a purple, swirling sea. It was eerily beautiful. Sedum 17, 12 p.m. My time has come. The ship is full of fog again tonight. Hopefully this fever takes me before the screeching demon outside does. Julius Blacklight, captain of the S.S.S. Fang. New York Times, 2025, May 14th. A well-known TikTok star, Melanie, found dead in her home. Washington Post, 2025, July 12th. Another TikTok celebrity found dead. Fifth prominent TikTok personality to be killed. Authority now calling it serial murder. New York Post, 2025, September 6th. 22 TikTok stars now dead. Police no closer to catching the killer. Daily News, 2025, October 12th. Police believe multiple killers and TikTok murders. Arizona Sun, 2025, December 24th. Google AI suspected in locating TikTok murder victims. Video image location identification, VILI, algorithm may have been used by the killers. Chicago Tribune, 2026, January 30th. Column: How Google AI designed to locate terror cells are now being used to terrorize the teenagers of TikTok. Dallas Caller, 2026, March 15th. TikTok killer caught. He says, I'm not the only one. We're legion. Indiana Chronicle, 2026, April 5th. TikTok murder toll reaches 109. Authority advising users to stop streaming. Savannah Mail, 2026, May 22nd. Column. My daughter streamed from a darkened and completely empty room, so she couldn't be located. She was killed last month. LA Times 2026, June 23rd. TikTok ban. New York Times 2026, July 9th. Instagram megastar Amelia found dead. TikTok killers suspected. Boston Chronicles 2026, October 3rd. 9 Instagram celebrities dead. Authority almost certain. TikTok murder continuing. Cincinnati Bugle 2026, December 15th. 68 Instagram murdered this month. Calls grow to ban all streaming. Miami Sun 2027, February 2nd. 2 more TikTok killers caught. They say hundreds like them. Oakland News 2027, May 15th. Instagram banned. Authorities considering banning all live streaming. Washington Post 2027, June 20th. Mass protest against live streaming ban. Organizers call TikTok murder a hoax. Baltimore Times 2027, July 1st. Column. No more live streaming? Are we back to blogging? Like in 2003. New York Post 2027, December 24th. Meta files for bankruptcy. Zuckerberg says market hostile to social media. LA Times 2028, February 12th. 12 girls found murdered in one house. No links to social media. New York Times 2028, April 18th. Times Square digital display board briefly hijacked to play a scene from TV show The Following. Detroit Daily 2028, May 11th. 320 teenage girls murdered nationwide in the past month. Authorities fear a large active murder cult. Her head twisted in an inhuman angle. No, dear, nothing's wrong. Nothing at all. Drivel. Downvote. I type out my reply. Your storytelling is rushed, and you build no tension. You rely on overplayed tropes. Take a writing class, or stop writing completely. The comment will probably be downvoted to the bottom of the pile, maybe even removed. I'd probably be banned from the subreddit if I wasn't such a great fucking writer. My stories are always on the top of the subreddit. I've gotten countless awards, gold and even platinum. I open a Word document and begin to write. The knife sank into the chest with little resistance. It never ceased to surprise him how easily it sank in, up to the hilt. The figure chained to the wall lost all will to scream. Just wet sobs emanated from his mouth now. The knife slid out of the wound and... No. It's all wrong. I delete every word of it. It's trash. Am I losing it? Am I losing my touch? No, that can't be. Just writer's block. Just a touch of writer's block. I just need to get in the right headspace. I walk into my bathroom and pull back the curtain. The chain bolted to the tile wall rattles as the figure rises, trying to get away from me. Shh, I say. Just need a little inspiration. You don't understand loneliness. until you're standing above your dead body, staring into your lifeless eyes. A feeling of sorrow consumed me, but I was comforted when I saw bright light beaming down. Maybe I'll be reunited with my parents. I can take solace in that. Before I could follow the light, I felt a scorching pain around my ankles. A pair of bloody, calloused hands gripped me tightly and began to pull me downward into the ground. I wept as the descent continued, horrified as to what awaited me. When my soul was pulled through the layers of the earth, I was kneeling beside a bloodied throne, made of broken bones that still had pieces of muscle still attached to them. I looked up and locked eyes with the devil. His eyes were pure black, his teeth as sharp as razors, and his skin had been melted off in several places on his wretched body. Not even the devil could bear the wrath of hell. "You belong to me now." He bellowed out a malicious laugh as he threw me down into the pit below. It was an ocean as far as the eyes could see, of burning people screaming for help, begging for their pain to stop. Everybody looked the same. Nobody had clothes, and the flames burned off everyone's hair and any distinguishable features they had before their time in hell. Then a tunnel of light appeared, and a mountain of people had formed like a skyscraper, toppling over one another trying to escape. I wasn't sure if it was some sick joke Satan was playing, but I didn't hesitate. I moved as fast as I could and climbed over anyone in front of me, digging my ankles into their flayed flesh. Satan flew down from his throne and began ripping people off of the pile while shouting, "Nobody escapes the devil." I continued to climb, doing my best to avoid him. I finally reached the top and was just a few inches away from the tunnel of light. I closed my eyes and prayed as I reached up, hoping I wasn't about to be torn down as I did. "Clear!" I heard as I felt a jolt of electricity throughout my body. My eyes opened and I saw a group of doctors standing around me. "It's a miracle! Welcome back!" Exhausted, I tried to get some sleep. When I opened them again, I was in a hospital bed. Was that real? I looked at my arms to make sure my skin wasn't still melted off, and was relieved to see they weren't. The door opened, and I was glad to know that a doctor was coming in to check on me. Except, it wasn't a doctor. It was him. "I told you, nobody escapes the devil." And he ripped my soul from my body. The flat line on my heart rate monitor was the last thing I saw before I began my second descent to hell. My family has lived in the small Russian village for ages, like thousands of years, if my grandpa is to be believed. Some of my ancestors somehow ended up in the UK. I was born there, but when I saw the news, I came here as fast as I could. This place is nowhere near big cities. It's a dark, cold, yet somehow a cozy little town, surrounded by woods for hundreds of miles, with only a few drivable roads leading out. That is why the news I heard was even more odd than it would be otherwise. Huge bell towers made of old wood and even more ancient stone had erected around the area. The towers were massive, some even reaching the clouds and beyond. You could not fly here because of the constant blizzard that seemed to focus itself around the presumably ancient monuments. Dark figures can be seen standing atop of the smallest structures, ringing the bells, never stopping, not missing a single beat in the dark, bizarre rhythm created by the constant clanging. People go up there sometimes, you know. They seem to return in an instant, too. And then they leave. They seem to have a predetermined destination after coming down. Some go to other countries, bigger cities, but nobody ever comes back until their children, or maybe grandchildren, hear of the bells. We always do, or so I've heard. The rest of the world always forgets, but their time is running out. As I step into the tower, into the unknown, I know what I must do. You will hear the bells soon enough, too. Do not worry. The ship crashed against the waves, wood creaking, water frothing and churning, as it slammed into the sides of the ship. "Captain!" I called out, raising my voice to be heard from the crackles of lightning as the storm swirled above us. "Are you sure we should keep going? The storm is strong. We might capsize." He turned to me, his hair whipping in the gust as the wind blasted past at impossible speeds. "Are you questioning me? Keep going," he barked, turning back to the sea. I nodded before turning back to the wheel. He knew what he was doing, being the captain after all. All my thoughts were wiped away when I heard a haunting cry above the vast sea. It was achingly beautiful, sounds sent from the heavens themselves, and I found myself yearning for more, needing more. The tone came again, but with it, it came in view of a rock, poking out of the oceans, waves crashing against it, though it stood unmoving against the pursuit of the sea. And on the rock stood a woman. She was beautiful, with porcelain white skin, untouched by any imperfections, and red hair that stood out like a beacon against the dark skies. She stood hands in the air, high above her head, and opened her mouth and sang. That was where the haunting sound has come from. When she sang, my thoughts didn't say my own. I had the urge to rush to her. My brain was telling me to just go. I couldn't stop myself. I just had to come closer and found myself rushing to the railing of the ship. I threw myself off, but the ship was much closer than I thought, and I landed hard on the rock. I scrambled up, my body aching, but all I could concentrate on was the woman. She lifted a hand, beckoning me forward, and I obliged. I put my hand in hers, and then she began to change. Her pale skin turned to a grayish blue, skin flaking off like scales. Her nails became crooked and long, puncturing through my hands. And her mouth, oh God, her mouth, it stretched far wider than anything should. Her touch yellowing and blackened, uneven and jagged, a smile on its face that split the creature's face in two, eyes sunken into its skull. I struggled against its grip, but it was futile. It slowly pulled me off the outcropping and into the sea, unfazed by how I fought against it. It slid into the water, me following. Water rushed into my lungs as the creature held me down under the surface. And the creature drove its nails into my chest and pulled out my still beating apart.